Imagine this scenario, 3 months into dating a woman who is captivating, intelligent, and everything you thought you wanted. Yet, in the last few weeks, the atmosphere has changed. She's become cold, distant, and you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, desperately trying to win back the approval and attention she once gave so freely. Every conversation feels like a test you're failing, leaving you with the nagging, stomach-churning feeling that you're slowly losing her respect. You wonder what you did wrong. You think, I'm being caring, I'm protective, I'm more emotionally available than any man she's ever dated. Isn't that what a good man does? What if I told you that this entire scenario is not an accident? What if I told you that from the very first date, you've been unwittingly playing a psychological game with rules you were never taught? Here's the shocking truth that will contradict everything society has ever taught you about romance. The very behaviors you believe make you a quality partner, being caring, protective, and emotionally available, are actually the exact things that are killing her attraction to you. Today, we're diving deep into the counterintuitive, yet profoundly effective strategies to outsmart manipulation in dating and build genuine desire and respect. The path to attracting and keeping a high-quality woman requires you to completely reverse your approach to being a good man. Before we get into the strategies, you must understand the fundamental pattern that absolutely destroys 9 out of 10 relationships. You've either lived this or you've watched it happen to a friend. In the beginning, everything is electric. She's chasing your approval and attention because you are confident, have your own life, and aren't overly invested in the outcome. This creates a powerful dynamic, the perfect storm for attraction. But then a subtle, fatal shift occurs, the moment you begin to like her more. As your feelings deepen, you unknowingly take on what we call feminine relationship traits. You become more emotionally available, you start seeking her validation, you want to spend all your time with her. And critically, you begin to prioritize her needs and interests above your own goals. This is the relationship kiss of death. Because while you are flipping roles, she is simultaneously taking on the masculine traits. She becomes more distant, more critical, less emotionally available, and starts making all the decisions and setting the boundaries. She becomes the dominant force. When you become the emotionally needy, hyper-available one, you have essentially handed over all the power to her. And the brutal, cruel irony is this. The more you chase her by being even more caring and attentive, the more she pulls away. This isn't her fault, and it's not truly your fault. It's a matter of biology and psychological wiring. Women are deeply attracted to the embodiment of masculine energy, strength, independence, emotional stability, and leadership. When you settle into the feminine role of chasing emotional connection and validation, her attraction circuits simply automatically shut down. The power dynamic is flipped, and the relationship's foundation begins to crumble. The second golden rule that will revolutionize how women treat you is this, and it's perhaps the most controversial. Never date only one woman at a time. Now, this isn't about being a player or being cruel. It's about mastering a core truth of female psychology and positioning yourself for genuine respect and desire. The reality is that in dating, 1 is dangerously close to 0, 2 is too close to 1, and dating at least 3 women simultaneously is the sweet spot to start with. Women are social creatures, and their decisions about a man's romantic value are heavily influenced by social proof. They are constantly, often subconsciously, looking for cues about how other women perceive you. If you're only dating her, she automatically knows she is your only option, and that immediately, irreversibly lowers your value in her eyes. Subconsciously, a siren starts to wail. If no other attractive women find him valuable enough to date, why should I? But when she knows you are dating multiple women, the entire dynamic shifts. She understands that other women are actively competing for your attention and time, and that makes you a high-demand, high-value asset. This initiates what we call the competition effect. She now has to work harder to keep your interest, which is the psychological paradox. The harder she works to keep you, the more attracted she becomes to you. The competition effect forces her to display better behavior toward you. She'll be more responsive to your texts, more available for dates, and more affectionate and present when you are together. This is not manipulation. It is a fundamental pillar of human psychology. The key is to be honest by simply not committing to exclusivity until she has consistently demonstrated great behavior and a genuine investment in you and the potential relationship. By having options, you prevent the emotional neediness that kills attraction, and you position yourself as a man whose time and attention must be earned. Now for the first golden rule of outsmarting manipulation. You must always signal that you've been with women at or above her level of attractiveness. This psychological concept is known as pre-selection, and it is one of the most powerful attraction triggers in the female mind. For thousands of years, women have been wired to quickly assess a man's romantic value based on how other women respond to him. If other women desire him, it means he possesses something valuable to offer. Conversely, if she senses she's the best you can do, or that you're not used to attention from attractive women, her attraction will immediately drop. Your behavior in the crucial first few weeks is being constantly analyzed for clues about your romantic history and social value. There are 3 critical areas where you must demonstrate pre-selection. First is vocal tone mastery. Your voice instantly betrays your true confidence level. When you are genuinely accustomed to being around beautiful women, your vocal tone simply doesn't change when you are with her. You don't get excited, you don't speed up your speech, and you use the bare minimum of words necessary. Most men fail this test the moment they meet an attractive woman. Their voice becomes animated, they talk excessively, and they use 10 words when 5 would perfectly suffice. This immediately signals to her that you are not used to this level of female attention. Instead, maintain the same calm, measured, and economical vocal tone you would use with anyone else. When she tells you something exciting, a simple, measured cool communicates that you're not easily impressed because you've seen it all before. Second, body language control. Your physical behavior speaks volumes more than your words. Men who are pre-selected are comfortable with space and do not rush into physical intimacy or constantly seek physical affection. The biggest mistake is becoming overly touchy too quickly, always wanting to hold hands, always wanting to cuddle, and constantly reaching out. This behavior screams, "I am not used to having this level of access to a woman like you." The counterintuitive action is to keep your hands to yourself most of the time. When you do initiate contact, make it brief, purposeful, and infrequent. This creates the valuable impression that you are selective about physical affection, making it a much more meaningful gift when you do choose to give it. Finally, nonchalant mannerisms. This governs your availability and attitude toward plans. A man accustomed to high-value women does not rearrange his entire life to accommodate one woman's schedule. When she asks you to dinner on Saturday, your immediate response should not be a definitive yes. A maybe, or I'll let you know, creates the impression that your time is valuable and in demand. Even when you do make plans, occasionally changing the time or rescheduling last minute communicates that you have options and a full life. The goal is to be pleasantly unpredictable. When most men would immediately say, absolutely yes, you say, sure, that could work. This subtle difference is crucial. It communicates you are not desperate for her company, and that her presence is an addition to, not the center of, your already fulfilling life. The most attractive attitude you can adopt, and the foundation upon which all these strategies rest, is complete nonchalance toward her behavior and choices. This isn't about being mean or indifferent, it is the mastery of emotional independence. It means genuinely not caring what she does, where she goes, or who she spends time with, because your emotional state is unaffected by her actions. Most men mistakenly base their emotional state on how their partner is treating them. If she is warm and affectionate, they feel good. If she is cold or distant, they feel bad. This gives her complete, devastating control over their emotional well-being. But the truly high-value man maintains the same internal, stable, and calm state regardless of her behavior. You are happy and confident whether she is being sweet or difficult, because you are not dependent on her for your emotional regulation or your self-worth. Neediness, the dependence on her approval, is the ultimate attraction killer. This level of emotional detachment is incredibly attractive because it is so rare. Most men become obsessively invested in controlling their partner's behavior, wanting to know every detail of her movements and getting upset if she doesn't respond instantly. The emotionally independent man, however, is so focused on his own life, purpose, and goals that her actions simply cannot disrupt his internal state. If she wants to go out late, great. If she doesn't text for a day, no problem. If she's being cold, he simply mirrors that cool, distant energy without getting emotionally upset about it. When you genuinely master this art of emotional detachment, you create a powerful psychological effect. You force her to question her own value and attractiveness. She's used to men falling all over her, but your non-reaction makes her wonder, why isn't he more excited about me? Does he not find me as attractive as other men do? This internal questioning is where the attraction truly takes root, keeping her mentally and emotionally engaged with you even when you're not there. The less you need her validation, the more she's motivated to prove herself worthy of your attention. This leads us to a crucial, counterintuitive principle: remove all care and focus only on leading yourself. This seems to go against the idea of being a good partner, but it is essential for maintaining a strong masculine frame and enduring attraction. Most dating advice tells you to be a strong leader, to set boundaries, and to communicate your needs. While this sounds noble, it has one fatal flaw: it reveals that you care. When you assert dominance, set a boundary, or try to lead her, you are essentially signaling to her that you are invested in the outcome of the relationship. And the instant she knows you are heavily invested, she immediately gains all the power to manipulate that investment. Consider the real-world example of her talking to another guy. The low-value response is to get jealous, assert dominance, make a comment, or have a serious conversation about respect. All of these responses signal that her behavior affects your emotional state, giving her control over you. She now has a button she can push to get an emotional reaction. The high-value response is to genuinely not care. If she wants to talk to other guys, let her. If she wants to go out late with her friends, you don't demand details. If she doesn't text you for 3 days, you don't chase her with messages asking if she's okay. This is not indifference. It is being so completely and entirely focused on your own life and goals that her behavior simply cannot move your emotional needle. The paradox is that by not demonstrating those traditional, controlling, masculine traits like setting boundaries around her behavior, you are actually demonstrating the highest form of masculine strength. True masculine energy is calm, stable, and utterly unaffected by external circumstances. When you can remain emotionally neutral, you maintain your power and force her to find other positive ways to get your attention and validation. When you remove all care about her actions, you compel her to seek your attention and validation by engaging with you. Here is a fundamental truth that will clarify months of frustration. Your logic is opposite to her emotions. What makes perfect logical sense to you will often create the exact opposite emotional response in her. Logically, you would think that being consistent, reliable, and emotionally available would make you a great long-term partner and therefore more attractive. But emotionally, those qualities often translate into boredom and decreased attraction. Conversely, being somewhat unpredictable, slightly inconsistent, and emotionally unavailable on occasion creates a powerful emotional excitement and increased attraction. This does not compute logically, but female psychology operates on emotion and challenge, not the linear logic that men often rely on. This is why women will often say they want one thing: a nice, stable guy who treats them well, but are instinctively drawn to the guy who is a little aloof and doesn't seem to care as much. The solution is to stop trying to make logical sense to her and start concentrating on creating the right emotional response. This means you must intentionally do things that feel completely counterintuitive to your male logic, but which produce the desired emotional stimulation. For example, instead of always being immediately available when she wants to see you, you must occasionally be busy with your own pre-existing plans. Instead of replying to her text immediately, sometimes wait a few hours. Instead of always agreeing with her to keep the peace, occasionally have your own, strongly held opinion that differs from hers. These subtle behaviors inject emotional stimulation into the dynamic. When she cannot predict your next response, her mind has to stay mentally and emotionally engaged to constantly try and figure you out. That unpredictability is the foundation of enduring, active attraction. Understanding this next insight will save you a tremendous amount of unnecessary effort. Women don't want finished products. They want projects. This is another truth that completely contradicts conventional wisdom. You might assume that showing up as a perfectly successful, emotionally stable man would be the most attractive package. While logic suggests this is true, female attraction operates on the drivers of emotion and challenge. Women are naturally drawn to men they feel they can somehow improve or change. They want to be the woman who teaches you how to be a better man. They want to feel like they are actively adding value to your life and helping you reach your full potential. When you present yourself as a perfectly put-together man with no emotional or developmental cracks, clear boundaries, and strong leadership skills, the subconscious message you send is, "I don't need you." And if you don't need her, she has no incentive to invest her time and powerful energy in you. This is the psychological reason women often choose the bad boy over the nice guy. It's not an attraction to bad behavior itself. It's the powerful draw of the opportunity to be the one who finally changes him. She wants to be the unique woman who finally makes him settle down and treat her well. The strategy here is to be successful and high value in your own life, but still intentionally leave room for her to add value. Don't have your entire life perfectly figured out. Show her there are areas where her unique skills and insights can make a difference. This links directly to our next strategy: reverse the dynamic. Make her invest in you. Traditional dating advice is a trap, telling you to invest in the relationship to show you care, which only creates a dangerous dynamic where you're always doing the work while she evaluates you. You must flip this script completely. The goal is to make her the one who is reaching out more often, making plans, and working hard to maintain the relationship. When she is the one investing effort, she becomes more emotionally attached to you because of a psychological principle called investment justification. Simply put, the more effort someone puts into something, the more valuable it inherently becomes to them. You can engineer this dynamic by being slightly less available, not always initiating contact, and occasionally being busy when she wants to see you. This makes her work for your attention, and that work translates directly into stronger feelings and more consistent, positive behavior. Understanding this next concept is crucial and will save you months of confusion. Women withhold femininity until you earn it through the right behavior. This is one of their most powerful, yet subtly deployed, psychological tools. When you first start dating a woman, you cannot and should not expect her to immediately be nurturing, supportive, or overtly caring. She is not going to immediately cook for you, take care of you when you're sick, or go out of her way to make you happy. This isn't a sign of disinterest. It is her strategically withholding these behaviors until you prove you are worth her full emotional and practical investment. Most men misinterpret this as coldness and respond by trying to win her over with extra effort and attention. If you chase her feminine energy by being overly helpful or accommodating, you immediately fail her test, and she will continue to withhold. However, if you mirror her energy and remain equally detached and emotionally neutral, something very interesting happens. She starts to question herself. Is she attractive enough to earn your care? She begins to wonder if she needs to step up her game to finally get your attention. This is the moment when her genuine feminine side begins to emerge. She'll start being more nurturing, more affectionate, and more actively interested in taking care of you. But this transformation only happens when you have demonstrated that you are not desperate or needy for her feminine energy. The key is to remain pleasant and engaging during this testing phase, yet maintain a rock-solid emotional independence. Do not try to win her over, simply be unaffected. The uncomfortable truth we have explored is that female attraction simply does not operate on the same principles as male attraction. What your logic deems sensible might create the exact opposite emotional response in her. Women are wired to be attracted to men who are slightly out of reach, who have their own strong lives and priorities, and who unequivocally do not seem to need their validation. This creates the necessary emotional stimulation that forms the core foundation of lasting attraction. These principles are not a short-term trick for the beginning of a relationship. They are essential for maintaining attraction over the long term. Many men make the mistake of thinking they can relax and stop applying these principles once they are committed. But that is exactly when relationships begin to deteriorate. The key is to maintain your independence and that slight emotional detachment throughout the relationship's duration. You must always have your own goals, interests, and social life that do not revolve around her. You must never become so invested that the potential loss of the relationship would devastate you. This is not about being cold. It is about being loving from a position of strength rather than paralyzing neediness. When you genuinely care about her but do not need her, you secure the perfect position for maintaining long-term attraction. To implement this, you must start by auditing your current behavior and identifying every area where you are being too available or overly invested. Focus on leading yourself rather than trying to lead her. Stop checking your phone constantly for her messages. Maintain your social life and hobbies. Practice being utterly content whether she is being warm or cold. Stop asking where she is going or who she is with, and maintain the same calm energy regardless of her mood. Let her initiate contact more often, be occasionally unavailable when she wants to see you, and make her work for your attention. And stop being the one who always makes the plans. The goal is a gradual, natural shift in your behavior, not a sudden change that looks like you are playing games. Embrace these uncomfortable truths and watch as women naturally begin to treat you with greater respect, affection, and genuine, burning desire. Remember, the objective is not to manipulate, but to understand her psychology and position yourself as the high-value man she is naturally drawn to. When you do this correctly, she gets the man she genuinely respects and desires, and you get the woman who treats you the way you deserve to be treated. Use these insights wisely.